Alaska. The Great Land. Dynamic weather and tidal conditions. People live and work in isolated areas. No roads connecting.
How do we get around? We fly.
The Alaska region is a substantially high user of aviation for transporting employees. Forest Service employees and cargo are normally transported in airplanes. Helicopters are employed for special use missions. The number one mission of the Regional Aviation Program is employee safety while getting the job done. Safety is everyone's main concern because flying in Alaska can be hazardous. The weather is often marginal for flying, and it can deteriorate rapidly. The terrain is mountainous and remote. And the cold water temperature is unforgiving to those who are exposed to it. The flying missions in themselves are not hazardous, but when combined with the Alaskan weather and terrain,
looks like we're getting into some fairly heavy weather here, with about 35 knots out of the southeast. It's clear going into the pass, but now we're running into some showers and squalls. I believe the visibility will pick up soon.
Flying missions combined with terrain, weather, and human factors have led to Forest Service fatalities. On average, 3 employees lose their lives each year while flying on official business. This is unacceptable. The Regional Aviation Staff is responsible for policies, directions, and approvals of all aviation resources. The Aviation Office in each Forest Supervisor's office is responsible for administering the program. Daily operations are carried out by forest dispatchers and helicopter managers. In the Alaska region, aircraft and pilots are provided through vendors. They are approved by Forest Service inspectors, and some are approved by the Interior Department. Upon arrival, the craft and the pilot are carded to fly for the Forest Service. From this point on, you, the employee, have the authority and the responsibility to inquire and make decisions on logistics and safety. The Regional Aviation Program provides you with guidelines and procedures so that you can make good, well-informed decisions. Good planning and preparation for your work trip is your best first step toward a safe trip. In Alaska, good trip planning includes preparation for exposure to adverse conditions. Natural fiber clothing is highly recommended as it will not melt like synthetic fiber when exposed to high heat or flames. You are required to wear appropriate footwear. Keep current with updated weather information at both your departure and destination work site.
I don't think we can fly out and pick these folks up. Maybe we can get them tomorrow.
A good rule to plan by when flying in Alaska is to always be prepared to spend an unplanned night out in bad weather. Keep in your pack all the necessary items you would need in case you have to spend the night on a beach or in the woods. While you are out working in the field, keep a good watch on the weather, and if conditions are deteriorating, call for an early pickup. The more knowledge you acquire on weather conditions and the better prepared you are for adverse conditions, the safer your work trip will be.
I need to set up.
To order a flight, you must go through the Forest Dispatcher. It's to your advantage to request aircraft as far in advance as possible. You're encouraged to request specific needs for your flight.
It will be Southwest needs, and it'll be myself and
The dispatcher is responsible for assigning aircraft and departure times and can often accommodate your specific needs if given enough lead time.
What about a return?
We will be returning Friday afternoon, last out.
When ordering through dispatch, you must provide the following information: the number of passengers, the names and approximate weight of people, type and weight of freight, departure time, date and site, return time and date and site, 6-digit job code, and any other considerations such as standby time, hazardous materials, and firearms.
Okay. Oh, and your management code?
It's going to be...
Hey Dan, how you doing today?
Good.
Yeah?
How's the weather in Pybus?
Well, I just got back from down there and it's blowing 25 to 35 and about 2 miles of visibility.
Doesn't sound too bad.
No.
How long are you going to be down there?
About 6 hours.
Yeah, I couldn't guarantee a pickup. The weather's supposed to be deteriorating throughout the day, so I'm not sure we could get you out.
Yeah, well, we don't have any overnight gear. It wouldn't do us much good to stay overnight down there. Maybe we should call it.
Yeah, let's not push the weather this time.
Okay.
All right, talk to you another time. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, see you later.
See ya.
As a Forest Service employee, you have the authority and the responsibility to be an active participant in decision-making. It is your responsibility to contact the Forest Aviation Officer if you observe any questionable conditions of either the pilot or the aircraft. Unsatisfactory conditions can lead to a chain of events resulting in an accident or incident. That chain of events may not be broken unless you, the employee, report any unsafe conditions. As a vital part of our aviation safety program, you can make decisions that can directly affect your personal safety and the safety of others. Approach and load the aircraft as the pilot directs. Boat docks are wet and slippery, so watch your step when loading. Everyone is required to wear a float vest. An overnight survival kit is located in the pocket. If a need arises to exit through the 2 emergency exits, wait until you are outside the plane to inflate the vest.
Okay, get those seat belts fastened. There's no smoking.
Wear your seat belt snug across your lap and shoulders.
Left and right up front. Then the 2 main doors like this. All of them operate by turning a circular dial left to right.
Weather on the Gulf of Alaska is often marginal and often changing. The Forest Service has established these basic weather requirements for flying. The base of the clouds must be 500 feet above the surface of the water or land. This is called a 500-foot ceiling. All aircraft must fly at a minimum of 500 feet above any and all terrain. The maximum wind velocity for all Forest Service flights is 30 knots. The minimum forward visibility for airplanes is 2 miles. For helicopters, it is only 1/2 of a mile. These distances should be visible in the direction you're going. Keep in mind that clouds and weather constantly move and change. A good pilot will constantly evaluate the conditions and the requirements being met during the progress of the flight. Flying missions are cooperative efforts. Pilots, helicopter managers, and Forest Service aircraft users all have certain rights and responsibilities. Pilots have the right to expect a reasonable rapport with Forest Service employees. They must follow all Forest Service regulations. Pilots have final say regarding aircraft operation. The helicopter manager is in charge of Forest Service involvement during operations. He supervises the loading and unloading of passengers and cargo on each flight. The forest dispatcher is required to follow every flight on the 2-way radio network. The pilot must check in every half hour during the flight. You, as a Forest Service employee, have the authority and responsibility to stop any aviation operation you believe to be unsafe.
Boy, I'm not liking the looks of this weather. Maybe we ought to head back.
Well, I can see a light spot over to the right. I think we can get around it.
Let's not chance it. Let's just head for home.
Okay, it's your call. We're going back.
You are obligated to refuse a flight or request termination of a flight when Forest Service minimums are not met. You have the right to set higher personal minimums if you feel it necessary for your own personal comfort and safety. It is also your responsibility to maintain a clean and safe aircraft and facility. Talk to your Forest Service staff or regional aviation staff if you have questions or concerns.
Safety needs to take top priority when working and flying in Alaska. There's no job that we do that's worth risking lives over. You as the employee have the responsibility to ensure that our aviation safety guidelines are met.